Hey, Determined Destiny family, this is Coach Kevin. Hey, just finished a really good workout and wanted to share something with you all that I've been working on and felt like this was a good time for that. Been working on this series of creating emotionally healthy young men and the steps and the process of ensuring that we have emotionally healthy young men. And when we talk about emotionally healthy, we're talking about obviously mentally healthy young men, but also physically healthy young men who understand what it takes to reach their destiny. So I had a chance over the weekend to watch a Netflix movie. Don't do a lot of that, but heard about this one and wanted to check it out. It's called American Son. And obviously I had some interest in that because I wanted to see what it was all about. And as I'm watching this, I realized that this ties in great with creating emotionally healthy young men. And I'm going to take my time here because there's a lot that went on in this movie. And there's a lot of connections there with Determined Destiny and the work that we're doing here in helping create emotionally healthy young men. So in this movie, there's a son. He's a biracial young man, 17, 18 years old, trying to figure out what he's going to do with his life, and has made some decisions with his family as far as where his life is going to go. Spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you a lot about the movie. So if you haven't seen it, I'm going to leave out enough to where you can still go watch it and enjoy it and get a lot from it. Okay, so he's made some decisions about where his life is going to go, and then he's thrown into a tailspin by his parents separating. Man, how many times does that happen to our young men where they think they're on the right path to life and they think that they know where they're going and what they're going to do, and then all of a sudden something hits, a storm hits, and they don't know how to handle that storm. We have to be able to create emotionally healthy young men that can make it through the storm. So this young man changes his whole demeanor. So this is an alert to you, parents. So if your young man changes his style, changes his dress, changes his talk, changes his friends, then you know he's going through something at that point. And his emotional well-being is at risk, and you've got to take action. But in building emotionally strong young men, we got to teach them how to work through those storms of life that are going to come up on them and help them still be themselves. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you the entire movie because I don't want to spoil it all for you. But that point of him hitting that tailspin and changing his friends and changing his dress and changing his language and changing his conversation about where his future was going was all a result of life hitting him. And those are warning signs that we have to heed as parents and know that we've got to intervene with our young men, and constant conversation and talking them through how to get on the other side of that storm and still be able to reach their destiny. So things aren't always as they seem. In creating emotionally healthy young men, we got to teach them this, that things aren't always as they seem. And if you can make good decisions based on the information that is inside of you, not just the information that's in front of you, be able to be guided by the principles of your life. We got to teach our young men to be guided by the foundation that we've set for them. If you set a good foundation for your young man, that's the first start to creating emotionally healthy young men. So then when the storms of life come, they have to be able to react to what's inside of them, not on what's in front of them. So things aren't always as they seem. But we got to trust that we're being guided by our foundation. Now, my foundation, obviously, I'm not ashamed to tell you that it's built on Christ. And who I am as a person is directly aligned with biblical principles. What we teach here at Determined Destiny is directly aligned with principles that come from the Bible. They're applicable to everyone in every situation. So what we have to be able to do is put a foundation in our young men that allows them to weather the storm and make decisions based on the principles that's inside of them. That's what Determined Destiny is all about. Teaching our young men how to make good decisions, think clearly, set goals, and obtain their destiny. That's what we're all about, and impact their community. That's what we want to help our young men do. But they can't do that if they're not emotionally healthy, and they struggle in areas of decision making, or when the storms come, they forget who they are as a person. Now, this young man in the movie started doing some things that his parents did not agree with. And he was still in contact with his dad, who was not there anymore. And, you know, we can trust and believe that our young men, they know more than what they say. Things aren't always as they seem. So when they are acting like they don't really know, or you think that they're not really paying attention, they know. They know what's going on inside the home, and they know what's going on with their families. And so he knew that something had happened between his mom and dad. And so dad's no longer there, and he's with mom, and they're trying to figure out life now that dad's not around. Man, that's tough on a young man. I'm just telling you, that is tough on a young man's ego. It's tough on his psyche, because he builds his life based on his father. And so that brings me to a chapter in my book, 10 Things Your Son Needs to Know to Be Successful. One of the chapters in the books talks about how you, as a parent, we have to tell our young men what we like about them. And then we have to tell them how that relates to their fathers, because that's where their identity is. And we want them to hear that positivity about themselves and that positivity about their fathers, because they make that direct connection, and they establish their own well-being based on that. And so this young man is going through some things in the movie because his dad's gone, and he knows his dad screwed up, and mom's talking him through it. But he hears mom crying about this. He sees mom crying about this. So that weighs on him emotionally and causes him to be frustrated with his father to a level of he doesn't want to identify himself with his father anymore. Man, we as parents, we got to take the time to talk to our young men about their emotions and about what they're feeling and about what they're dealing with, so that we can help them through that and help them understand that when storms of life come, we've created you for this very reason, to make it through this. You will obtain your destiny if you stick to the principles that we've taught you. Be a man of character. Be respectable. Be intelligent in the way that you go about doing things. Make good decisions. Put in the hard work that it takes to qualify you for the next level. We got to continue to tell our young men, this is who you are. This is who you are. You're smart, you're beautiful, and you're strong. And we got to tell them that constantly to create emotionally healthy young men. Then we got to give them time to cry. Cry and talk it out and yell it out and fuss it out. Breathe it out. Think it through with them. But hold them accountable. Hold them accountable, because the mistake that the mom made in this particular movie was she allowed some things to happen because she knew the son was frustrated. She knew he was going through some things. So she allowed some things to happen that she would not have allowed in any other situation. And so we can't back down to our standards as parents as we are working to build emotionally healthy young men and help them through the tough times. We can't lower our standards thinking that that's going to help them. It's not. We got to cause them to rise up and stand strong in that storm. So the mom allowed some things to happen, allowed him to leave the house when she wouldn't have, allowed him to have some friends that she didn't know about, and she didn't really know them, but she was going to allow him to hang out with them because she was trying to be understanding that he was going through this, because she's going through something. So that's understandable. But what I'm saying to you is, don't lower your standards when it comes to creating emotionally healthy young men and helping them get through a storm. Do not lower your standards on what you expect of them. So then the son goes out, gets into some trouble with the law. And we know that that's trouble, big trouble for our young men. When the law gets involved with a emotionally unstable young man who's struggling through some things, we know that's going to be trouble. And we've got to help our young men make good decisions, stay calm. Don't react with emotion all the time. Keep a level head about what you're doing and how you're doing things. React with logic React with what's inside of you. Trust that you're being guided when you're making decisions. Trust that you're being guided by the one who is inside of you and who will guide your steps. We got to help our young men develop into emotionally healthy men. It's going to take time. It's going to take practice. But Determined Destiny is here to help. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Determined Destiny. Follow us on Facebook, Determined Destiny. And please check out the website, determineddestiny.org. I'm Coach Kevin, and we are knee-deep in the middle of a series, creating emotionally healthy young men. I'm here to help. Our team is here to help. We got coaches that are on standby, waiting for your calls. Once you become a member with the Determined Destiny family, we will allow you the opportunity to give us a call and talk with us and let us help you create a young man who's determined about his destiny. Thank you. Have a great day, y'all.